Welcome to our Getting the Most from Filing the 2014-2015 FAFSA by the March 1st priority deadline Parent Connection webinar. I'm glad you're here with us this evening. My name is Cynthia Batchelor, and I'm the Assistant Director of Alumni and Parent Relations here at St. Leo University. I began working in my role here at St. Leo University this past September and have been honored to inherit the duties associated with parent relations. My predecessor, Stephen Kovacek, who was the former Director of Parent Relations before the offices of Parent Relations and Alumni Relations merged into one office, built the parent program here at St. Leo University from the ground up. One of his points of pride happens to be the Parent Connection webinar program. I am honored to be able to continue the program and make enhancements to it as the needs of our parent community continue to evolve. Briefly about me, I have a master's degree and a graduate certificate in career counseling. I am currently a doctoral candidate and working to complete my PhD in career and workforce education. I also have over 12 years of experience working within higher education, everything from residence life to financial aid, which we're here to talk about tonight, to career counseling, and now to university advancement. I also have two bonus daughters, also known as stepdaughters, who are ages 15 and 12 respectively. I also have two dogs and cats, so I keep just a little bit busy. In my role with parent relations, it is my job to make sure that the parents of our students know and understand the vast array of resources available at St. Leo University to serve their students. As part of this role, we offer these Parent Connection webinars to help inform our parent community and keep you apprised of the information most important and time relevant so that you can have the conversations with your students, hopefully within enough time to make a difference. Of course, being a parent myself, I also realize how effective my conversations can be sometimes. In one ear, out the other, yet I have to believe that if I have the conversation with my student or my teenager, it sticks in there somehow, and she, usually, because mine are girls, chooses to water the seed or not water the seed. So without further oversharing, we'll get started. It looks like we have quite a few parents who have logged on to this presentation this evening, and I'm very happy to see that. I hope that this presentation will inform you and provide you with useful information that you can use as you continue to support and advise your child as he or she grows and develops here at St. Leo. So, what exactly is a Parent Connection webinar? Parent Connection webinars are a series of online sessions for parents of St. Leo students that provide you with an in-depth understanding of the resources available on campus for your students. These sessions are intended to equip you, the parent of a St. Leo student, with information that can help you to continue to mentor your child throughout his or her university experience with us. These webinars will give you an inside look at how things work at St. Leo and an opportunity to hear from people who make it happen, like our guest here tonight. One of the things that I would like to emphasize when speaking with parents is that college is a time of great growth and learning opportunities for our students. These learning opportunities take place both inside and outside of the classroom. As students grow into adulthood, I'm sure that you hope that they become more independent. Learning to handle the occasional roommate conflict, that pesky cold that seems to always come around every semester, and even navigating the financial aid process that we're here to talk about tonight, are all learning experiences that help a student grow, gain confidence, and ultimately become an independent person. With that in mind, my suggestion is that you should become as informed as possible about how things work at St. Leo but also encourage your son or daughter to take the necessary steps to handle situations on their own with your gentle guidance, of course. Also, I want to let you know that since this is a webinar, we have set up the program so that you will be able to view and listen to our presentation. I'm sure that many of you will have questions. If you do, please type those questions into the chat box, and at the end of the presentation, we will take some time to answer those questions. Tamika Granger is this evening's presenter, and she will be sharing some very relevant information about financial aid in the 2014-2015 academic year. Tamika, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Tamika Granger is the Associate Director of Financial Aid here at St. Leo University. Her primary responsibility is managing on-campus financial aid. She also oversees the Student Employment and Federal Work Study program. She has been working in higher education for quite some time, and she specializes in Title IV federal funding. As you know, this particular Parent Connection webinar is designed to familiarize you with getting ready to file by the March 1st priority deadline. I do want to caution you that we do have a FERPA guidelines, the Federal Educational Rights and I cannot remember all of a sudden that the FERPA guidelines, it's a privacy act that requires I wanted to add extra words in there, I apologize, that requires that we can no longer we cannot provide certain information specifically pertaining to your individual student. So we're happy to answer questions related to your son or daughter individually and your specific questions if you contact the school individually and provided that your son or daughter has signed a waiver to that effect. So if that is the case, you can contact, and we provide contact information at the end of the webinar so that you can get in touch with us individually. But during the webinar, like I said, since this is a public format, please keep your questions that would apply to a general nature. So without further ado, we are going to get into the main criteria of our presentation, which is all about financial aid and filing before the March 1st priority deadline. And so with that, take it away, Tamika.
Thank you, Cynthia. I'd like to start off by saying greetings to everyone. And the FERPA actually stands for the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As you know, it's that time again. It's time to file for the 14-15 FAFSA. Right now, the FAFSA is available to be filed. We encourage everyone to file as soon as possible or as soon as you filed your 2013 tax return. It's very important that you check your student aid report for accuracy in messages and respond to any emails that the student receives. St. Leo Financial Aid will notify the student of any items or documents that are needed through their St. Leo email. So it's very important that the student begins to get into the habit of checking this email on a regular basis. 1 in 3 students are selected for a process that's called verification. Verification is not as scary as it sounds. All it is, the Department of Education wants to verify the information that you put on the FAFSA matches up with what the IRS has. In that case, we will have to require certain documents are sent in. So it's very important that the student checks their St. Leo email. The student aid report is also a wonderful tool. As soon as you submit your FAFSA, you'll get a message, and it normally will alert you if additional items are needed based on the institution that you attend. It also provides some estimated information on what you may qualify for. So the FAFSA has become a very parent-friendly tool. And if you ever have any questions, we encourage students and parents to contact our Customer Support Center for guidance on completing the FAFSA. Satisfactory academic progress, which in short terms we call SAP. There's a policy on the St. Leo SAP process at www.stleo.edu/SAP. It has a requirement of a GPA as well as a completion rate that all students should be aware of. It's very important that students understand the SAP policy. It's something that you're able to see your status on a regular basis. You know how you're doing. You want to make sure that you're on task. So if you do kind of poorly in a class here or there, it's not going to hurt you. But when you get into a habit of failing courses and having to repeat courses, you want to make sure that you're still within SAP. Once you become SAP ineligible, you have to go through what's called an appeals process to regain federal eligibility. Florida state aid is also something that we want to make sure our residents here in Florida are up to date on. You can visit the Florida Student Aid or financialaid.org site. It gives you a lot of information. It also allows the student to register on the site to check their eligibility. It's also the same area you would go to check your status for Bright Futures. So that is a very important site for our Florida residents to check up on. And now for the 14-15, it's no longer required to do a FAFSA to receive the Florida Residency Grant, FRAG. However, the FSAG, which is the Florida Student Assistant Grant, it is required to do the FAFSA. So again, we do encourage all of our students to complete a FAFSA every year. Another addition to St. Leo is a website of Access Ready. It's stleoaccessready.net. It's a free web-based tool that provides information about loan types, repayments, budgeting, more. It's part of our financial literacy project. It's very easy to understand, and it's geared for both students and parents. So I do encourage everyone to visit this site on the St. Leo website. Bright Futures is another large topic in Florida, and again, you can also get information on Bright Futures by visiting the Florida website. The Florida Academic Scholars, Florida Medallion Scholars, and the Gold Seal, they've all had changes in their criteria. So it's very important for both students and parents to understand what the criteria is to qualify for these awards. How it's applied at St. Leo is that we're notified by the state of who's eligible. So you want to make sure that your student as well as the parent understands their status. You want to have a good relationship with your guidance counselor, for they are normally people who enter this information into the Florida database. Institutional aid is normally on your award letter that when you receive during the admissions process. The academic renewal standard is that you must be meeting SAP. There goes that word SAP again, so you want to make sure you're meeting SAP eligible. Most grants and awards are renewed as long as the student still has financial need. And you'll be able to check your E-Line account to confirm all your institutional aid is awarded. The award notification is sent to the student's St. Leo email. So again, it's very important that the student checks their email. Once the student receives this notification, they'll be able to log on to their E-Line account and accept and view their award. Our goal is to get continuing students awarded prior to for them leaving for the year. So you already have all the information in front of you before you depart for the year. We don't want any last minute FAFSA filers this year. We want to start a new record here and get everything done as early as possible, so we're not all scrambling come the fall season. Other sources are the Parent Plus loan. A Parent Plus loan is an optional credit-based loan that the parents can take. The loan is through the federal government, and parents can visit studentloans.gov to apply for this loan. What happens is if the parent is denied this loan, the student is then awarded additional loan money that they can borrow on their own. There's also outside scholarship information that's updated on a regular basis at stleo.edu/finaid/program. There's also a new page on St. Leo that speaks on alternative loans at St. Leo's Fast Choice. So when you go to this website, St. Leo University, and just hit /Fast Choice, it'll give you information on private loan options that are available to you. And here are some links to some other financial aid sources. Again, there's a lot of information online these days. You don't have to necessarily wait till you can get someone on the phone or make an appointment. A lot of this information is on your fingertips. The federal government is very big on educating students and parents about what they're eligible for and about smart borrowing. So again, you always have information at your fingertips. You can find out almost any question you want to know by looking at one of these websites. Who do I contact? Well, there's advisors located at Train Stop here on campus. It's myself, Tamika Granger, my advisor, Robin Parks, and my other advisor, Frank Jackson. Our hours are Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. We also have the Student Finance Support Center at 800-240-7658. You can also reach us by email at finade@stleo.edu, and our fax number is 813-226-4894.
Tamika, one of our participants is asking a question about, it looks like SAP, or Satisfactory Academic Progress. They're wondering, they have a question of confusion about satisfactory academic progress and the difference between that and academic progress. Looks like, is that the same thing as if my student is meeting their is academic progress, if they're meeting their GPA requirements, is that the same thing? Can you explain the difference?
That's an awesome question. No, they're two different things. Normally, if you're running into an issue with one, you're probably running into the issue with the other. However, satisfactory academic progress is a standard set by the Department of Education. A lot of times, students will kind of already be aware because they're already being notified by their academic advisors of their academic progress. So again, they kind of go hand in hand, but you'll normally be running into an issue with your academic advisor prior to seeing financial aid. But it's always a good, if you have an issue with one, go see the other, just to be on the proactive approach to find out, okay, where do I stand with it? So that's an excellent question.
Okay. And personally, I had a question. What advice would you give parents as far as coaching their students to maybe prevent getting in a situation where they would find themselves bumping up into the issue of satisfactory academic progress besides the getting good grades?
I would say keep communication open. You spoke on it very well in the beginning as far as allowing the students have the independence to go speak to other departments. They have to have that ability to be able to just seek, and because we are there to help them. It's a lot of times we'll get a student in front of them and we have to kind of pry it out of them, like what's going on. We're like, it's okay, these people here are to help you, it's their job. Ask the question, even if you feel like you didn't ask it correctly, they can kind of figure out what you mean. Just teaching that open communication. My daughter is 6, and when she says things, I try to get her to communicate. Use your words. What is it that you're asking? What do you need to know? And that's the type of environment here at St. Leo. We all care about the students, and we're here to help them get through whatever they need to get through.
Then the other question I see here, and I'm going to go back to the Bright Futures
Okay.
Slide to help with this question. It looks like we have a parent asking about questions if, it looks like to maintain for our continuing students, to maintain eligibility going forward because you talked about with guidance counselors, I guess that was for incoming Bright Futures eligibility, but what about for our continuing students to maintain Bright Futures eligibility?
They need to just stay on the same guidelines that they were currently in, and they are notified whenever they're in jeopardy of losing their Bright Futures. And one of the biggest culprits is maintaining your full-time status. Students think, okay, I'm just going to drop a class, but they want to maintain that full-time status. Now, full-time is anything from 12 to 18 hours. So if you're taking 16, 18 hours, you're probably in the clear. But if you're taking 12, know that you need to stay enrolled in 12 credit hours.
Right. And for me, just looking at this, I can see that also if someone drops down from 12 hours, but then also, it does, here at St. Leo University, I came from an institution where a lot of our students took classes over the summer, and that's where they made up their Bright Futures eligibility. But I know here a lot of our students don't attend over the summer.
Yeah, and we're
we're
semester based. So
right.
Kind of like your spring and your fall. If you're in the module program, it can kind of finagle that way,
Right.
but normally with the semester base, it's spring and fall.
Right. So I can see how that would be very critical for them to make sure that they take at least, it looks like at least 12 hours.
Yeah, and it's also, it changes their award since Bright Futures is paid normally by the award, by the credit hour. A lot of times what students will say is like, oh, well, I got more last time. It's like, well, you took a few more credit hours. So it's just keeping the student aware of what, what they're doing, how they're on track. And again, all of us are here to help. So
Like you said, if they ever have any questions, they can just come and ask.
just come and see us.
Okay, good. And I had a question, just would it, if we could maybe, a little bit more about Access Ready, and I was going to ask you, can I click on this link so we can maybe show what Access Ready looks like?
Yep, it should open it up for you.
Okay. So could you maybe talk a little bit more about Access Ready?
Sure. Going into Access Ready, if you click on
Start now?
Yep. Gives you some awesome information if you want to click on check it out now. It finds out what your goals is, has you created an account, teaches you about budgeting, goes over borrowing, tuition bills, it lets you build a profile. It's a really neat tool. And this is where it has you set up an account, gives you some security questions, also very secure so you don't have to worry about other people getting your information.
Okay. So it's not, so it helps you with budgeting, information, calculators, like calculation simulators, like if this, then what, and that kind of thing. Is that the type of
Exactly.
tools
It
that
helps
you would
gauge
find,
your
and
budget,
and
your
it's all
tuition.
free?
Yep.
Free
Completely free.
because they're a St. Leo parent, St. Leo student.
Exactly.
So there would be no charge for
Correct.
using that service. So they create a new account, they create it free. Now, would you recommend when they're creating a new account that they use a St. Leo email, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter, but again, if we want to get into the habit of checking our St. Leo email, I think it would be a great idea.
So you would recommend
Yes.
that. Just now for the parent, if the parent was now, can the parent create an account and the student create an
Yes.
account? Okay. So I'm glad we took the time to ask that question. So we talked about filing the FAFSA by the priority deadline. One of the things that Tamika mentioned was filing it and she talked about, your taxes. I think she also mentioned that you can file it without having done your taxes yet, but if you have done your taxes, of course, go ahead and file it, but you can.
Oh, and I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just remember also March 1st is the deadline to get the early FAFSA
Right.
filers grant. So
You still can file it after.
yes,
Priority deadline for the maximum aid.
correct.
Does anybody have any questions about what that means? Just in case, she will explain.
Yes, March 1st is, we want you guys to get your FAFSAs in as soon as possible. As an incentive, St. Leo issues a early FAFSA filers grant for students who complete their FAFSA prior to this date. Again, even if after this date, you're more than welcome to do the FAFSA, but we want you to get it in as soon as possible because remember, there are limited funds that normally are awarded to the people who have everything in, have their FAFSA completed first. So again, a scenario is federal work study. It's a limited fund. Although many students qualify for it, not everyone is awarded federal work study. SEOG, another limited fund. Many students qualify for it, not everyone else is awarded for it. So you always, if you have the information to get your FAFSAs done, we do urge to get them in as soon as possible.
We talked about this. I think we talked about this pretty well. Bright Futures. Anybody have any questions about institutional aid? Award notification. I do want to make just one note about other sources. Do keep in mind that if your son or daughter is looking for opportunities for scholarships, that they can contact our office of alumni, our alumni office, our development office, and we do have a listing of scholarships that alumni make donations on behalf of our students, and so you can take a look at those scholarships as well for your students. So I would encourage you to look on our website. That's on our advancement website. So your students could apply, and there's different deadlines for each of those scholarships.
And just to table that, as far as scholarships, a lot of people think, oh, well, I didn't get any. The best thing about scholarships is that you bring them in the day before your last day, we can apply it. Scholarships is something that should be an ongoing project. I always suggest make up a Yahoo email, scholarships@yahoo.com, because you will get flooded with a lot of mail, but just use that email just to apply for scholarships. Apply for one a week, and you can get scholarships from small institutions, your local church, your local dry cleaners. Even if it's $100, $500, every little penny counts. So it's something that you should continuously promote your student to apply for scholarships.
That's great advice. Okay, well, I think we are all set. If there are no more questions, then that's all that we have for you. I am certainly glad that you all signed in with us this evening. We normally have a survey that goes out right after the end of the webinar. We are going to send a survey out, but it's not going to go out right at the end of the webinar. It'll probably go out in the next couple of days, so please do complete that webinar for us. And as always, we will have a recording of this available on the website so that you can review it at a later time. And with that, thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and we hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you next time on our next Parent Connection webinar. Thank you so much, and thank you, Tamika, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.